Hello YouTube. Today I'm gonna tell you about how I recovered from 4 serious mental illnesses and how I did it and how I can help you. Just so you know a little bit about my history, I was a guy who struggled with anxiety, bipolar, schizoaffective, and schizophrenia. And what a lot of people don't know is that these illnesses, yes, may be serious, but can also are highly treatable, and you can live an extraordinary, amazing life. You can treat your illnesses, and in some situations, cure them. To start off, I'm going to give you a little bit of history of my life. Now, back when I was a kid, I was very soft-mannered, I was very nice, I had high levels of anxiety, and I was a typical anxiety kid that was afraid to talk to girls. But I had something special. I had a gift of creativity that most anxiety sufferers deal with. A lot of anxiety sufferers, a lot of people don't notice, are extremely smart. It is because of their over-intellect that they think everything, and they overthink it, and at least the catastrophic thinking. And through that over-intellect, sometimes it backfires. Plus, since they're really smart, they get bullied, and when they get bullied, they get depressed. And when you get depressed and you have catastrophic thinking and you have a lot of thoughts going on, you tend to over-worry about life. My bipolar came from my dad's side of the family, bless his soul, and he dealt with bipolar. He dealt with it really badly where he went into a deep depression. He was a great man, and I honor him dearly. My schizoaffective side came later in life when I kind of did a mind experiment to see images in front of me. And I'm going to go into that a little bit. You see, my whole life I just dealt with the anxiety side of the spectrum. And I got over that when I was 16. I broke away from it. I realized that it's not the way to live life and that there's a better life out there. But then when I was 18, I kind of did this weird experiment with my mind. I kind of saw images in front of me. Now people may say, well, that's kind of harmless. How could that harm anyone? Well, what happened was the good images eventually would just play, but eventually they turned to bad images, and eventually they turned to voices and hallucinations. But the weird thing was I was fully conscious of what was happening. I knew 100% of what was happening, and I knew what I was doing. It got so bad where I was hospitalized for anxiety, mood swings, and schizoaffective. Now, what I did was something interesting. I used a technique called layering, in which I did a technique of thought labeling, and I labeled the images, I labeled the hallucinations, and I labeled the thoughts. So you got 3 for 3. Third times the charm. You can thought label anything. Also, if you use intense positive emotion, your brain will use the law of attraction and you will attract positive energy to you. You will attract positive thoughts. It's all about thinking positive. Think about it. Champions. What separates the person who's an all-star baseball player from the person who's not? Is it the fact that they're physically stronger? No. Is the fact that they put more work? Yes. And the fact that they believe. It's mind over matter, guys. It's kind of like those people in UPS, which you see them and they're not that built. They're not that built, but they're able to work 10 hours a day lifting heavy boxes. How did they do it? Because they trained their mind. They lowered their arousal level. They train and condition themselves in which they sweat less. But getting back to my original point, how I recovered from mental illness was one thing I realized is you have to admit you have a problem. When you realize you have a problem, you can work with the doctors. Now, I'll say this. The doctors aren't perfect. Sometimes they're really going to piss you off. Okay? They're not perfect, and sometimes even they overprescribe medication. But just because doctors overprescribe medication, don't think that the medication will not help you. Medication, for the better or for the worse, has helped lots of people. It has helped people with schizophrenia not have voices. It has helped people tone down their anxiety, work with autism, work with Asperger's. Now, we must realize in recovery what medication can do and what it can't do. Medication can balance the chemicals at best. It can't cure your soul. And if you're suffering from a deep emotional wound, the medication's not just going to magically cure it like Jesus Christ. You need Jesus Christ to cure things that Jesus Christ can cure. The other point I would like to make out is if you end up in a hospital and it really gets that bad, don't use the hospital as a time to start fights and be pissed off and just like get pity yourself. Just because you're in a hospital doesn't mean you're insane. It means you are sick. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone is a little bit sick. Jesus Christ died on the cross because we're all sinners. We all are kind of, well, fucked up. I mean, we say some pretty messed up stuff to each other. We as human beings, the human condition is imperfect, and that's just the way it goes. That's just motto, man to man, but talk between me and you, that's just the way it goes. The human condition is imperfect. And because it's imperfect, we have sin, we have illness, we have all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on. And what I would like to say to you is that if you want to heal from anxiety, thoughts label all your thoughts. Use positive energy. Get creative. Take up a hobby. Help people. If you want to heal from bipolar, eat the right foods. The right foods will elevate your mood. But the number one thing to pass through bipolar is when you have it, sometimes you got to deal with the bullshit. You have to deal with that intense emotion. And don't try to run away or hide from it. Accept it fully. And the more you accept it, the more you accept the fact that, you know what, this is an illness, but we can work through this, is the more the fact you recover. To heal from OCD, you break down the anxiety. You loosen the anxiety, you heal from OCD. For example, say you have a habit which you shake a lot, your hand shakes. What you should do is say to yourself, let my hand shake. If it shakes, it shakes. Another thing to heal from OCD is cut it out little by little. It's an addiction. OCD is an anxiety-enhanced addiction. You're addicted to the behavior. It's not that the person with OCD doesn't think there's another way. It's the fact that they're so addicted to that illogical behavior that they have these responses. Another thing I would like to sum it up, schizoaffective. How to get past images and hearing voices. Now, all people that hear voices aren't schizoaffective. A lot of people deal with intense levels of stress. And when they deal with these intense levels of stress, the brain overreacts and goes into hyperdrive, and then the voices come about. If you can weaken the stress, there's so many pressure points in your body that you can relax. One's right here, one's right there. Relax your back, relax your ear, rub your temples, rub your cheek. Do all these things that are going to relax you. Be relaxed and be calm. And also think positive. Eat the right foods. Find God. Find Jesus Christ. Pray. Repent. If you feel guilty, repent. Get on your knees and repent. You can do it. You're a star. You're excellent. Remember, Einstein had many mental illnesses. The founder of psychology had a lot of mental health issues. The star of The Beautiful Mind, the movie, the person who it was based on, had a lot of mental health issues as well. He dealt with schizophrenia. I mean, geniuses, artists, musicians, people who are extremely talented have mental illness. And a lot of times, it's not because they're stupid, it's because their mind is so overheated that their mind is in overdrive. But to tell you, if you have mental illness, do not look at it as you're an idiot. Actually look at it as your mind is uniquely crafted and created. And when you learn to use that power for your benefit, you can soar. Any questions you would like to ask me, how I got out of the hospital, and now I got 2 jobs, a girlfriend, a great life, money in my pocket, this YouTube webcam, a smile on my face, a happy family, all these happy things, anything you would like to know from me, I will tell you, because I love you. And it's all free of charge, because when I go to school, I'm going to train to be a therapist, and I want to help people, and I want to help you too. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and God bless you all.